well, welcome to a new episode, a new series we've got going. It's my first actually individual thing. As you know, I'm Rory from the group rotation. And my thing that I want to do is a few interviews, mainly with the British basketball scene. And I've managed actually to secure my first interview, which I've just filmed with a really good young British prospect called Cameron Taylor Willis. She currently plays Ipswich. She has just committed to Division 2 school, Eckerd College. I hope I didn't butcher that name, but in Florida actually. And so she'll be going there after this season. And we go through a few different things. We talk a little bit about how her life at Ipswich is going, how the academy system works, how she's a junior international at GB and England level. So we talk a little bit more about that. We talk about a little bit of influences outside of basketball, and we'll just have a little bit of fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Karen, how have you been?
I'm good, thanks. I'm living life.
yeah. Thanks for coming on and being our first ever, I guess, guest of any sorts on our channel. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. I guess the first thing I want to just get everything out of the way is how's lockdown treating you? I want to get all the, I guess, boring COVID stuff out of the way. So yeah, how's lockdown been going for you?
It's been okay, I suppose. Obviously, I'm an exam year, so trying to learn everything on computer is not ideal. But I mean, I'm keeping busy. School is keeping me busy. Like I feel is school and sleep. I've got to keep fit, or try to anyway, which is kind of rough considering I can only go out once or whatever, but I've been trying to do that. So I'm actually kind of busy considering I'm just at home all day, every day.
Well, good to keep yourself busy. Actually, just to go straight onto basketball stuff, actually, are you able to do any sort of basketball related stuff? Like, I don't know if you've got a hoop in your garden at least, or do you have access to any courts at the minute?
Not at the moment, but actually the women's team actually started training last week. So we train twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday, and we get tested just before. So like the quick test, you get your results in 10-15 minutes. And then we actually are starting to play on weekends again. But when we don't have games, we train on Saturdays instead. So yeah, we've started to actually get back into it like pretty much normal, really.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. So we'll start, I guess, just to start from, I guess, the beginning of your basketball journey. Do you remember the first time you ever played basketball and what drew you into it?
Well, I do actually. I remember it really well. My year 5 teacher actually paid for a women's team in Ipswich. And obviously I was always tall as a kid, and everyone was like, I was always sporty. Like I did athletics and football and other things like that. But she said you should just try basketball. So she set up a club, and we used to go to high school to take part in it. And that's when I got picked up by a coach who was from Ipswich, but she told me to try out for my county, Suffolk. So I did that, and she coached it. So she was like, well, if you're local, just come play for Ipswich. And that's kind of when I started. I think I was 11. I played in under 11 Suffolk tournament, so that's kind of where I picked up basketball to start with. So yeah. So
you've only ever played for Ipswich, not and Suffolk, you said, but you've never. Is there any clubs other clubs other than Ipswich local to you?
Not really. There is Bury St Edmunds as county upper school, but they've never played at the level that Ipswich had. So it just
made sense. Yeah, it just made sense to join there. And so you started Ipswich. You said was it under 11s you started at?
I did Suffolk under 11s, and I joined Ipswich full time because I was still doing like swimming and one of my other sports as well as basketball. So I just started, I think, under 13, under 14 level. I started playing Ipswich like properly. That's when I kind of quit everything else and realised that basketball was, what I wanted to do instead of all the other things. But yeah, it was under 14s, I think.
Okay. And when did you first start? You're probably going to be quite humble with this, but when did you start realising you were quite good at basketball? When did you start noticing that, I guess, were considered an elite player in basketball?
Well, I think under 14s I was pretty average as you goes. I was just kind of training twice a week, once a week. And then the head coach of like the whole Ipswich basketball kind of picked me up and was like, I think you have potential. So he started. When I was about 15, I think, I started training with the academy team. So I left school early and I started training with them. I think that's kind of when I realised I wanted to take it seriously. And because I was a 15-year-old training with 19-year-olds, I think I was like, okay, maybe I actually kind of will be good at this. So
naturally gets you better, I guess, yeah.
I think that's probably I kind of want to do this.
Okay, cool. And so you started noticing around then, you started getting good. And then did you say you started from 15, you were playing with the academy fairly regularly?
Yeah.
And so what does when you're in the academy system, because most of our videos so far have been NBA based, so not many of our viewers will have much knowledge on especially the academy system in the UK. What would you say, obviously pre-COVID, what was the average week looking like for you?
Well, obviously you have to be attending the actual school, so you have to be attending Copperstone High School to actually play games, but anyone can train with them. But my regular week for an academy player, like now, including things at sixth form, would be Monday to Friday, train every day apart from Tuesdays. This is the girls anyway. So Monday you have team practice, and then Tuesday you have S&C. Wednesdays is game day, so you have nothing apart from the game. Thursday is women's training, and Friday is a shooting session, kind of light, just before the weekends at the weekend games. But on top of all of that, you have individuals, like shooting sessions, one-on-ones with the coach. So like our weekly and lessons. So our weekly is like very busy, like it's non-stop. You play every day easily, so it is very busy.
God, that sounds like a dream, I guess, to some people. But God, that sounds tough on you. But I guess once you get used to that system, it gets really easy. So you started when you were playing. So you said you started at under 14s for Ipswich. When you're playing there, is it true? I've seen your coach, Nick Drain. I've seen a couple of his interviews and podcasts that he's done, and he said that the team you've got now were all with the same kind of same core of group that were back then. Is that true? And like, how many of the new players, are there any new players that have come throughout the years?
Well, last year it was all Ipswich-based players. Like our team last year was, Harriet Wellen, who our best player she was in Ipswich and from under 14s. Then you have my age group from like Esther, Ella, me, have all joined at under 11, under 14. So it was, and people that have been to the academy and then got out and got a job and then came back. So it was fully Ipswich based, and obviously we had some girls we had a Manchester girl and someone from Southend who moved home to come to the academy. So they were Ipswich kind of through and through, apart from that. But this year we've had a lot of new girls come to the academy, so it's less Ipswich based, but our core team is very like people that have been there from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, and you said there's a good few players now coming in from you said some come from Essex and some come, you said a girl from Manchester. What do they look like? Do they stay with, I don't know, you for example, or do they stay with another player, or do they have accommodation that's sorted through the club?
Well, in the academy we actually have a thing called host families, so people that have moved away from their homes to come and play for Ipswich, they just live with like another family, and it's kind of like accommodation, but you're paying monthly for it, and yeah, you just live in Ipswich with some like a family that have said I'm happy to have you. During the week I don't live at home. I live with my friend in Ipswich because I'm like 40 minutes away from school. So, but in Ipswich I'm a 5-minute drive. So it's just best to be close. But yeah, we just live in host families. It's literally just like it's kind of like accommodation, but you're literally living with someone's parents. Okay. Family, basically.
Oh, cool. And for anyone that's not seen you play before, could you just give us a brief? How would you describe yourself as a player? What would you say your strengths are?
It's hard actually. I've always been told for my height, I've always been able to shoot the ball really well and move like my athleticism for how kind of tall. I don't want to say the word big, but I am quite like a broad player. So to be able to move. It's quite hard to explain. To shoot the ball, for my height and my position, it really stretches out what I can do because defenders guarding me, they don't want me to shoot or they don't want me to go past them, so they've got to defend me quite differently. I'd say I love ball screens. I love coming off. I love playing with my point guard Coco, who all we do is play pick and roll pretty much. So I love moving off that. I love moving off the ball. I'd say that's one of my biggest strengths. I'm never normally standing still on offense. So yeah, I just, there's a lot of things that I enjoy that I'm not very good at, but overall, I'd say, shooting the ball, getting to the basket, and moving off the ball is probably my biggest.
And then I guess the opposite to that question is what sort of things are you wanting to work on in the future? Like what sort of thing to get you to that next level? What's the main thing you want to work on?
I'd say my on-ball defense needs to improve, especially when I go to the States and play against people that, can do pretty much what I do, but better. I've got to be able to guard what my coach always says. If you can guard yourself, then you've pretty much got there. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, I probably can't. I quite like having a little wrestle with bigger girls than me. I find that a bit fun. But I'd say on-ball defense, and yeah, I think my just defense in general needs to improve. I'm not going to lie. But that's something I'm working on. So it should be better by the time I go and play in the States. So.
Yeah, as you said, you just mentioned the States. Is it Eckerd College you've committed to? Yeah. So as I said, congratulations to committing to them. They're in Florida, I think I read. Am I making up? No, I was right on that. What made you choose them over? I guess I don't know what sort of interest you could go into, how much detail you want to about how much interest you had in from other schools and why you chose them in the end.
Well, I mean, I did have quite a lot of interest, but as soon as Eckerd reached out, I just kind of thought. I warmed to them a lot more than the other colleges I kind of spoke to. I mean, the coaches are just lovely, and I mean, the location is literally on a beach. And
that helps, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say it's all because of that, because it isn't, but it is a big part, and I'm right in St. Petersburg, the city, so, I'm not in like a rural area, I can get to places, and the education in the college was they always said it was quite a big thing for them. Like their GPA was above average in pretty much above every school, I think. So their education, they took it very seriously, and that's always what I've wanted to do. I went for basketball, but I'd also want to get a good degree, So just I had a checklist, and it literally ticked all of the boxes. So it was a no-brainer for me when they offered. I just thought, I didn't obviously accept straight away, but I kind of looked at my other options and thought they just don't really compare to what Eckerd actually gave me. So.
Oh, good. And I'm assuming a vast majority of your recruitment process was done during a lockdown period, or most of it was done. So what was different about? Because I'm assuming if there wasn't a lockdown, you may have flown over once or twice to see different schools. But what's it been like having to do? I guess maybe a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of and we're on Teams right now, a lot of Teams calls. What kind of tell me a bit about the process of how your recruitment went?
So it was very, like you said, it was very virtual. It was all Zoom calls pretty much. But normally, there's like a period in the season where coaches actually come and fly over to actually physically watch you play, and training and things like that. So it was very, very different. And obviously, the NCAA rules. You get 48 hours, I think, 48 hours with the college of your choice to go out and visit if they offer you a visit. So you're allowed to visit 5 schools. So I would have gone to, I think, like 3 or 4 maybe, just to have a look round to actually get a sense of it. But obviously with Eckerd, I couldn't do that. I haven't been to the campus. I mean, I've seen a virtual tour, but it's do the same things. But it has been very different not being able to go out there. Like the first time I'll probably go out there is when I actually move there and take all my stuff. So, I mean, it has been very different, but I do have confidence in the coaches that they haven't, fed me lies and things. It looks fun. So, I mean, it has been different, but although I've got all the information I kind of need I know I made my decision. So.
Yeah, am I right in saying there's currently another British player out there?
Yes, yeah, there's Maya Price, who I actually played with, who's, a really good friend of mine. So I think having her out there and having like her experience just made me realize this is the place for me. If I can't go out and visit, so having her tell me honestly how she loves it. She's like, I never want to come home. So that did help a lot. So, and it would be nice to just have a familiar face there when I go, to teach me everything and where to go and things like that.
So we spoke a bit about the college itself, but on actually the basketball program, how have they been the last few years? Obviously, I'm assuming they didn't finish their season last year, but have they started their season yet this year, and how have they been so far?
Well, this year actually they're not playing at all.
Oh, are they not? Oh, okay.
No, I mean some schools they've got the option to play or not play, and Eckerd decided it's too much of a risk. So all they're doing is training at the moment. But last year they actually won their conference. They beat their local rivals to win it. So I mean, they're a very good side. You know, they have good. Like obviously the coach has actually been there for about 14 years, I think, and he's been successful basically all of his years there. So that does fill me with confidence. You know, I didn't want to go there and lose. So
Yeah.
They are a good side. So.
Yeah, you said actually you don't want to go there and lose, and obviously traditionally Ipswich, especially the girls program, have had a very successful time in the past five-ish years. So what's that like? How does that motivate you almost? Because of being on, I guess, a really good team, you can argue that it could kill your motivation to play other teams at some point. So what do you use as real motivations, especially on a really good team like that?
I mean, it sounds spoiled, but I'm not used to losing. Like, ever since I've been in the junior program, we've always been a good team. Like, we actually have been, and since the 2018 season, we've always been the underdogs. You know, everyone just thought, oh, little old Ipswich, you know, we'll just go and beat them. But we've always come out fighting. Our coach has a very big mentality of, even if we're up by 30, we want to win by 50 kind of thing. So he's always we've never stopped playing as hard as we can. Like, we never just cruise, we just go all out. So that is motivation, because, and ultimately, if we're playing, then we're getting better, and that's all what we're there for. So, I mean, the motivation comes very much through our coach. Like I said, he just tells us to never slow up, never, you know, don't, just because we're up by this many, we could think if we keep playing like this, we could be up by more. So it does help, but we all play the game because we love it, and winning just makes it more fun. So.
Yeah, no, obviously winning is always better than losing, and I like how you put that because previously the teams that I've never been on a great team that I played for, but I've been on teams that won more than they lost, and sometimes I think as a group we found it hard to, if we were playing bottom of the league, to get motivated for that game, because it was like, you know, we won't try and we'll beat them by 50. So it's a very, very interesting to look at, because obviously you win. I think I can't remember the last time I saw Ipswich, especially the girls team, lose. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to talk to you about keeping that winning mentality. So on the top of your head, actually, speaking of that, in the last couple of years, could you say off the top of your head how many games you probably lost in the last few years?
What, as an academy or a women's team?
Either or.
Actually, I mean, in our last academy year, we lost once. I don't actually think we lost, actually. Thinking about it now, because we made the finals, obviously we didn't get to play it because of COVID. So, I mean, the year before that, we lost in the semi to a really good side who actually went on and won it. So that was 2 years ago. But last year, I don't actually think we lost a game in the Academy League. But women's, you know, we actually lost the last game before we locked down this time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we lost to Loughborough by 1, which is a tough game. But that's the only game we lost. So we were 6-0 when we went into that, and now we're obviously 6-1. But
well, Loughborough are a very solid side. I don't think they've lost this season, have they?
I think they lost once in overtime.
Okay.
But overall, I don't think we've lost more than 5 times at all in the season. So, yeah.
Who would you say, if you had to tell, I guess, one person, let's exclude your coach, because obviously he's quite famous, I guess, around the Ipswich basketball, and to be fair, women's basketball in a whole, he's probably, well, in England especially, one of the most, I guess, famous people, if you will. Other than him, who would you say, if you could tell me one person who's really, I guess, added to your winning culture?
Well, I'd have to say our captain, Harriet. I mean, she's literally having Nick on court, but literally having him on court with us instead of on the sideline. So she's always like, we're not slowing up. We're not kind of literally the same mentality as Nick. She hates losing, but we're all so competitive. Like, we hate losing. Like, on the way back from Loughborough, it was pretty much silent. Like, we just didn't talk on the bus, but we just hate it, and we're not used to it. It does sound bad, but when we lose, it's like, well, guys, come on, we're not losing again. We don't like the feeling. So we all push each other to keep going on court. Like, we're all such a team kind of vibe, but Harriet is probably the most mental tough one to be like, come on, guys, let's not give up. And being our captain, it's easy to be drawn to her, and our best player. So if she just tells you this is what we're going to do, we're not losing, we're like, yeah, okay, we're not losing, kind of thing. So
yeah, and obviously to keep on that, the culture, I guess, of Ipswich a little bit. If you, because I've obviously looked on Ipswich like on YouTube and things like that, and every video I've seen up until I guess highlights of this season where you weren't allowed fans, it's always a packed out gym wherever you're playing. It's always there's multiple people on drums cheering on everyone. How does that make you feel when you see, I guess, like parents, family, friends, I guess people that just want to come and watch a good game of basketball? How does that make you guys feel when you step on the court and you have so much support?
I mean, it's like you said, we never have an empty gym when we play. You know, even when we go to away games, there's people that come in with us just to watch. It just, I don't know, especially with our family and friends watching us, it just makes it a bit more special. Like the culture at Ipswich has always been one big kind of family. Like, although you're not blood related, just still sisters kind of things. So, I mean, it's just incredible. You know, when we had a really big game against Cambridge, our Coppleston, our gym was absolutely packed, and I definitely say without that crowd, I don't think we would have won. Like they never stop cheering, and having that, you know, a lot of players say they just kind of, because they're so into the game, they don't even hear it. But when you sit on the bench for like 1 minute, you just look and you're just like, oh my god, like it's so loud in here. For the other team, it must be so intimidating, but it just makes it so much better and just makes the whole vibe of the game just a bit more exciting, and it's just so good to have, knowing you have support behind you.
How would you say then that's affected you this season, obviously with not being allowed fans at all? How would you say, obviously I guess you don't want to blame the loss on not having fans there, but do you reckon it had an impact on the fact that you're not like 7-0 at the minute?
I mean, it has been different, but again, we've only played one home game this season.
Oh, okay.
We've played the rest away, so we're not used to a massive crowd away. Like I said, some people come and watch, but it's normally the other kind of side that have the big crowd. But I think it has made a little bit of difference. But we've always said as a team, no excuses. Like just because we have a crowd doesn't mean we have to lose. They do play a big part in it, but our bench, like the people that don't play a lot of minutes, never stop cheering. So we always have noise coming from our bench or our crowd. So I mean, I would say it's impacted us a little bit, and I know we all miss our friends and family watching, but I'd say we're still playing just like our best basketball without or with them. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I just wanted to get on actually. I think it was at the 2017-18 season when it was your first year as when you moved to a women's team, and obviously you went to Division 2. For people that won't know, obviously it was a very crazy season for you guys. Maybe just explain a little bit. Well, explain as quickly as you can or whatever. What happened that season?
So in that season we actually went undefeated. In Div 2, like we were blowing out teams 30, 40 plus. I mean, we knew we had a good team, but I don't think we kind of realised what we were capable of. Like, if you put that team back now, there's no us kind of thing. Like, our players individually were just insane. I mean, 2 people out there in the States, a few people have gone on to play basketball in like uni leagues, WBBL and things like that. So our team was incredible, and playing in Div 2, like our coach actually tried to get us in Division 1 that year, just before the season started, because he knew we were going to be good, and Basketball England didn't let us. So we just thought, right, what we're going to do then? We're going to win the cup. So we actually played Essex Blades in the final of the cup, who were a top Div 1 team. I think they were winning Div 1 at that time. And we came back from 17 down and actually won. And, you know, like I said earlier, we've always been the underdogs. And that was the season where we thought, we're not the underdogs anymore. You know, people want to beat us. So that season was incredible. And the group of girls we did it with, like I said, they were all from Ipswich pretty much. And it was just something I don't think we'd ever forget.
And am I right in saying that that team that played in Division... Sorry, that was my fault. I clicked on something by accident.
That's all right.
Can you hear me again? I'll start that again. We'll just cut that bit out. So yeah, am I right in saying that all of that team that played that season was from your academy team? Like, it was the exact same team?
No, actually, our academy team was, I think there was our academy team that year consisted of 6 players.
Oh, wow.
It was me, Ash, and Aya from the women's team, and the rest were just people. I mean, someone from I think they were year 11, I think. So it was actually, that academy year wasn't great for us. Like, we didn't actually win many games, but we were so focused on the women's season, like we didn't. Sounds bad. We did care, but like it wasn't our main priority that year.
Yeah.
So there was only 3 of us that actually played in the academy league that year. I was in year 10, and the other 2 were in there last year. No, the last year or the second year of sixth form. So it was actually not, our academy league was not actually that great that year, but we kind of made up for it in the women's side.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I guess you could just use the academy as a way to improve that season. But I completely get you wanting to prioritise something that you're more likely to win. But we've spoken quite a bit, obviously, about your time at Ipswich and what's like the Ipswich culture and stuff. But tell the people watching what about your international career? Like what levels have you played at internationally? Did you start off when it was just England, or have you always played for Great Britain?
I played for England in a tournament as under 15, so that's when I first played internationally, and there was a 4-day tournament in Copenhagen, Denmark. So that was the first time I put an England jersey on, and those 4 days were the best 4 days ever. I literally enjoyed myself so much. We didn't win as much as we hoped to, but we just still had a great experience. Like, not a lot of people can say they played for their country. So, singing the national anthem before games was just something I just don't think you can forget or compare to. So that was my first international experience. And then that was under 15s. And then the year after, I played in a European Championship for Great Britain at under 16 level. Again, we didn't do as well as we hoped, but we still, I don't know where we came that year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's just a great experience. I mean, we never normally do as well as everyone hoped for, but we had like a few weeks to prepare. So, we're not very organised as a country, and it's all very up in the air. But overall, I have played for Great Britain twice, I think, under 16s and under 18s, and this year that should be under 18s again, I think. Yeah, and then I think so. Yeah, I will be, I think, or under 20s. I can't actually remember.
I could help you with that.
I'm trying to think, and I don't know, because I am 18 now. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But I mean, it's always great to go out there. It's hard. Like, it's mentally tough and exhausting. Like, your body after that, you just want to lay in bed for like days on end because you're playing games pretty much every day. You're training every day. You have, I think, in the under 18s just gone, the tournament, we had about 2 rest days, but we went to Manchester for a camp for a week before, and then we flew straight out to Macedonia for our tournament, and then we played 3.5, 2 weeks of games just non-stop. So I mean, it's exhausting, but it's great to get experience, playing for a country, playing against other countries that are really good, and everyone says that it's great for recruitment purposes, getting spotted for American, colleges and things like that. So, I mean, overall, you get positives out of it, but yeah, it's very exhausting.
Yeah. Apologise for being a bit naive here, but am I right in thinking that, because I know the boys' GB youth teams have like Division A and Division B. Is it the same for women's?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And what division were you guys in?
We were in B last year. We still are, but the under 18s, the under 20s last year actually got promoted, so they're in Division A. But under 18s have always been in B.
Okay, and what are the, for people that won't know, who are the European powerhouses in basketball, especially at youth level?
I mean, Netherlands always good. They're always, there's quite a lot of, I don't know, they're always really tall. They're just expected to be big girls, strong girls who can work really well around the basket. So Netherlands are always, when you draw them, you're like, okay, well, come on. But Greece are always good. You never get a bad Greek team, I don't think. Sweden actually won last, in the under-16s, they won that year. So Sweden are always good, but they're always lovely to play against. They're good, but they're humble. But I think a lot of teams that you play against, they're never bad. You just can't be really. You don't ever draw up a team and think, oh yeah, we've got this one, because everyone's so good because it's their best 12 players in their country. So yeah, I'd say Greece and Netherlands are always kind of the top. Obviously France in Div A, but we never get to play against them, thank God.
Yeah, France are always good, aren't they, at any level, really?
Yeah.
So back I guess to Ipswich and your current situation this season. Obviously, you just said that the women's team are back, and is there any chance of the academy season coming back? And if so, what looks to be put in place?
It doesn't look very likely about going back to complete normal. Having games every Wednesday. We're not at school, so it can't really happen if we're not at school. But they've said it's cancelled for the time being, but if they have time or if COVID gets better at the end of the season, like the normal season, in like April, May, we might have like a mini tournament of like a weekend where we'll just play, 3-4 teams that we would have played, and then whoever wins that kind of is the winner. But it's not going to be normal. It's probably just going to be like a mini tournament for like boys. So.
Okay. We'll just start to come to the end of this interview, where I think I will start with what are your plans for team plans, I guess, for the rest of this year. Obviously, you've mentioned you probably might not get to play for your academy, but if you do get a chance to play some form of games, and you said with the women's team, what are your I guess your goals for the coming up the rest of this season?
I mean, we've always kind of said we want to win a championship before we go off. It's pretty much everyone's last year. So we've always said we want to have like one kind of last dance kind of thing, and just win as many trophies as we can. Win the league. Obviously, it's all very different because of COVID, but I think there still might be like a mini national cup. So our plan is to win that, win the league hopefully, and maybe not lose anymore from now until the end, because that'd be pretty cool. But we just want to ultimately enjoy ourselves, try and actually get playing, because we all miss it a lot. So I don't know, just have fun and win as much as we can. Really, that's kind of what our goals are.
Cool. What would you say your individual goals are for the rest of the season, assuming that you can get some form of court time, I guess?
Individually, I just want to get as best and as ready as I can be to go on to the next level. Like I said earlier, I want to get better at defence. I want to, probably get a little bit fitter, because obviously COVID has not allowed us to stay as fit as we could be. To get my fitness back, start getting back in the gyms if that's possible. Just being physically and probably mentally ready to move on, kind of thing. Just playing my best basketball, and just keep improving.
Okay, cool. And I guess I'll ask you the same question again that I've just asked you, but expand on it a little bit more. Like, we'll start with team success and individual success. We'll start with team. What would you say your goals are for the next, we'll say 2 to 3 years? What would you say you'd like to see your team success, especially in college, obviously?
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be the same goal. We just got to win. Ultimately enjoy ourselves and win games. I never want to stop improving. Like, going out to college doesn't mean I can just kind of stop. Like, I've made it to where I want to be. Like, I just want to keep getting better. So if that means, off the court as a person or on the court as a basketball player, I want to be able to do that. Become more confident or become better at skills like ball handling and things like that, just to improve, as a whole. And obviously as a team, just to win games, enjoy ourselves, and maybe, who knows, we could go undefeated, but I don't want to say anything yet.
Cool. And again, individually, as I said, we'll expand a little bit, I guess, individually. So let's say I talk to you when you've just finished your final year at college. What would you say you want yourself to be like, I guess, on and off the court?
The best version of myself, probably. Like I've said, I've always wanted to improve on certain things. So I want to be like little things, like using my left hand way more, because I'm very much right-handed. becoming a lights out shooter instead of like a, an all right shooter kind of thing. I just want to improve everything that I'm good at and everything that I'm bad at just a little bit more. So just literally to become the best player I've been, and then who knows, maybe I could go pro or come back and play in the professional leagues in this country. I haven't really decided, but just to be ready for where I'm going to go next kind of thing.
Cool. And I've got one more, I guess, a more in-depth question, and I've got a few quick fire questions to ask you. My last real in-depth question is, who would you say, if I told you on and off the court, who you can name, obviously a few people, who's been a real big influence on your life? I guess I'll give you a limit of 5 people you can say.
What, from my team or just any?
On the court, off the court. Okay.
Well, I mean, I have to say my parents, because without them, none of this would have been possible. They've moved me out of this house to be able to play. They've moved school. Like I moved school to play in year 10. They've literally done everything possible for me to, do what I kind of want to do. Play basketball, go to, the States. Without them, none of it could be possible. So my parents, I have to definitely give credit for. My coach, Nick, without him, again, nothing would be possible. He's picked me up from a very young age and always said that I could have potential. And, he is known to be a great coach, and he's proved that. He's made me, the best player I can in the States. My teammates, I know that's not 5 people, that's 12.
Yeah, I'll let you have that.
The people that I've grown up with, Esther and Ella, that I've kind of followed each other from the start, and that's kind of always motivated us, just a little healthy competition. My best friend on the team is Becky, the one from Manchester I mentioned earlier. She's always been there for me, bad days, good days, on and off the court. Without her, I couldn't have done any of this, couldn't have got through any of it. So, a massive thanks to her, and, she just keeps me going kind of thing, when I'm sick or bored. Sometimes you have days where you just don't want to play basketball and you just got to, with those days, she's always like, come on, Cam, like, you just got to do 2 hours, and I'm like, right, okay, let's go. So I'd say, is that 5? It's probably like 40 people.
Yeah, no, I'll let you have that. Anyone else, or is that?
Just, I don't know, just friends, people that I've known from the academy. I'm very, like I said, we've always been really close, boys and girls, just, friends, family, everyone that have kind of been there and supported me. So yeah.
Cool. And I'll move on to, I've just got a few quick fire questions to ask you. Most of them are basketball related. But first one is best player you've ever played with?
With, not against, with.
With, that's the next question.
Who is the best?
So you've played with a fair few good players, so that's a bit of a difficult one, that one.
It is, yeah. I'd have to probably say Harriet Wenham, because her ability to score is just ridiculous. No matter how many teams scout her and face guard her and all things, she can just always get to the basket and get us points. So I'd probably have to say her, and she's a great leader. Like, I can't deny the fact that she leads us with every game, and we always just kind of follow her. So I'd probably have to say her, yeah.
Cool. And obviously, next question is best player you've ever played against?
I'd say it's Holly Winterburn. I don't know if you know her.
No, yeah.
So it's pretty much the face of basketball England. We actually, like I mentioned earlier, the semi-final that I mentioned that we lost, she played it. And you just can't stop her. She's just incredible, She went to Oregon. I think that kind of speaks for itself. So, yeah, that's definitely the easiest. That's such an easy question.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that's who I had in mind. I'd have been shocked if you said anyone other than her. She's amazing. Next one is, what off the top of your head, would you be able to tell me the most points you've ever scored in a game at any level?
I can actually. It was at a school game. I think it was like a semi-final of like some school final or something, and I scored 64. Yeah, because it was my age group, so I didn't sounds bad, but people just play basketball at school because it's kind of fun. But I was just doing it because I kind of wanted to win, and I think we scored like 74 points, and I had 64 of them or something. So, yeah.
Oh Jesus! Oh, I'm not gonna. I was expecting more like 45, 50, but 6. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. We did count at the end, and I was like, oh god. But that was, to be fair, that was a long time ago. Most recently, again, probably in a school game. I think it was last year. I think we played our rivals Bury St Edmunds, and I got 43 in that. Those are probably my highest, but yeah.
I'll say both of those are a lot higher than my career high at any level. So yeah, we won't go into that. But what would you say your favourite, I guess, hobby or thing in general is to do outside of basketball, so not basketball related?
God, that's actually really hard. I don't know. Probably just being with family, doing whatever I do. You know, kind of like going out for a meal. Obviously, you can't do any of this. Going out for meals and just being with friends, doing anything like in a social environment. I think probably.
And last one is, what is your favourite basketball memory of all time?
That's a good one, actually. I think it has to be was it this year? I think it was this year. When we won that under 18 against Reading, and it was at Essex Arena, and literally there was like a sea of blue people.
Yeah, I watched that game. That was a good game to be fair.
Probably that, because we all just played amazing, and then we all went out afterwards. So that whole day was just amazing, like the winning and everything. That's probably my best basketball memory at the moment.
Cool. Well, we're just approaching the 45-minute mark, so I think that's a perfect place to end it. I was going to say thank you so much for being our first ever guest on the channel, and I wish you nothing but the best luck for the future. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first ever interview I've done for the channel. I really enjoyed doing it. Thank you so much to Cameron. And obviously we wish her from the rotation nothing but the best in the future. If you'd like more of these type of videos, please leave a comment down below. And if there's anyone you'd like me to interview in the British basketball world, please put that comment down below. Leave a like, leave a subscribe. Follow us on the socials. We'll put them down below in the link. And I will see you guys soon.